Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Easy English, the podcast where we make learning English easy, fun, and natural. I'm your host, Emma, and I am so happy you're tuning in today. We have a very special episode for you.
Hi, Emma. Hi, everyone. I'm Leo, and I'm so excited to be here. It's always a pleasure to chat with you and help our listeners practice their English.
It's great to have you back, Leo. Today, we are talking about a topic that is very close to my heart. We are going to talk about your year. We'll be reflecting on the last 12 months, the good times, the challenges, and everything in between. It's a perfect way to practice your past tense and share some stories.
That sounds like a wonderful idea. Time really does fly, doesn't it? I can't believe we're already at the end of another year. It feels like just yesterday we were making New Year's resolutions and planning out our goals.
I know, it's crazy. But before we dive into our conversation, we have a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy our podcast, please hit that subscribe button right now. It really helps us grow our community and reach more English learners around the world.
Yes, and don't forget to follow us on social media. We have links to our TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook in the description. We post daily English tips there. You'll find quick grammar lessons, vocabulary words, pronunciation tips, and fun challenges.
And if you don't have time for a full episode, check out our shorts and clips. They are also linked below. Perfect for practicing English during your coffee break or commute. Okay, Leo, let's get started. When you think about this past year, what is the very first word that comes to your mind?
Let me think. I think the word is growth. This year felt like a lot of growing for me, not just in my career or my hobbies, but also emotionally and mentally. What about you, Emma?
For me, I think the word is fast. This year went by in the blink of an eye. I remember January so clearly, making my plans and feeling excited about the year ahead, and now it's already gone. Does it feel like that for you, too?
Absolutely. It's like I woke up in February and suddenly it was October. But when I look back at my calendar, I realize I actually did quite a lot. I think we often forget how much we achieve because we're always looking at the next thing. We're always thinking, what's next? What's next? And we forget to celebrate what we've already done.
That's so true. That's why reflection is important. It helps us see how far we've come. Let's look back at the beginning. How was your winter? For many of our listeners, the start of the year is cold and dark.
My winter was very quiet. I spent a lot of time indoors. I read a few books and watched a lot of movies. I think I was a bit lazy in January and February, to be honest. I didn't go to the gym as much as I wanted to, and I ate a lot of comfort food.
I don't think lazy is the right word. I think it's resting. Winter is a time when nature rests too, right? The trees don't have leaves, animals hibernate, so why shouldn't we slow down a little bit?
That's a good point. I never thought about it that way. I always felt guilty about being less active in winter, but maybe my body was just telling me to rest.
Exactly. I was the same. It was so cold that I didn't want to leave my house. I spent a lot of time baking, actually. I made bread, cookies, cakes. My kitchen smelled amazing, but my jeans got a little tight.
That's the winter life. But then spring arrived and everything changed. Did you do anything special in the spring?
Yes, in April, I started running in the mornings. The weather was finally nice enough to be outside, and I wanted to get back in shape after all that baking. At first, I could only run for 5 minutes before I had to stop and walk. But by the end of spring, I could run for 30 minutes straight.
That's impressive. Running is so hard when you first start. Did you enjoy it?
I didn't enjoy it at first, to be honest. I thought, why am I doing this to myself? But after a few weeks, I started to love it. I loved being outside early in the morning when the world was quiet. I loved feeling my body get stronger. It became my meditation time.
I love that. For me, spring was about gardening. I actually started gardening. I have a very small balcony, but I bought some pots and planted some tomatoes and herbs. It was so nice to see something grow from a tiny seed.
That's amazing, Leo. Did you actually get to eat any of the tomatoes?
I did. Well, I got about 5 small tomatoes. They were the most expensive tomatoes in the world if you count the cost of the pots and the soil, but they tasted delicious because I grew them myself. There's something special about eating food you grew with your own hands.
That is such a great example of growth, literally. For me, the spring was also about travel. I finally visited my cousins in Italy. I haven't seen them in 3 years because of everything that happened in the world, so it was very emotional.
Oh, Italy. That sounds wonderful. Did you practice any Italian while you were there?
Just a little bit. I mostly said pasta and gelato and per favore, which means please. But it was a great trip. I visited Rome and Florence. The history there is just incredible. I felt like I was walking through a museum every single day. The buildings, the art, the fountains, everything tells a story.
I'm so jealous. I've always wanted to see the Colosseum. Was it as impressive as people say?
Even more impressive. When you stand in front of it, you realize how massive it is. And you think about the fact that it was built almost 2,000 years ago without modern technology. It was very crowded with tourists, but it was absolutely worth it.
Did you take a lot of photos?
Oh my goodness, yes. I took hundreds of photos. My phone storage was completely full by the end of the trip. But you know what? I realized that sometimes I was so busy taking photos that I forgot to just look and enjoy the moment. So on my last day, I put my phone away and just walked around and observed everything with my own eyes.
That's a really important lesson. We live in a world where we want to capture everything, but sometimes we need to just be present. That's hard to do, though.
It is hard to do, but it was so worth it. That last day in Florence was my favorite day of the whole trip. I sat in a little cafe, drank espresso, watched people walk by, and just felt grateful to be there. I think that was the highlight of my year. It reminded me how much I love exploring new cultures. And that's a great way for our listeners to practice English, talking about their trips. You can say, I went to, or I saw, or I visited, using the past simple.
Exactly. I went, I saw, I ate, I visited, I loved. Simple sentences are the best when you are starting out. And traveling is such a good topic for conversation. Everyone loves talking about their travels. Speaking of eating, did you try anything new this year?
I did. I tried sea urchin for the first time at a Japanese restaurant. It was interesting. The texture was very soft and creamy, and the taste was very strong. I'm not sure if I liked it, but I'm glad I tried it. What about you? Have you tried any new food?
Well, I've become much more adventurous with my cooking. I tried making homemade sushi. It didn't look very pretty, the rice was everywhere, the rolls fell apart, but it tasted okay. I've also started eating more spicy food. Before this year, I couldn't handle any spice at all. Even black pepper was too much for me. Now I love a good spicy curry or spicy ramen.
That's a big change. What made you start eating spicy food?
Honestly, my friend challenged me. He's from Thailand and he eats very spicy food every day. He said, Leo, you just need to practice. Your taste buds will adjust. And he was right. I started with mild spice and gradually increased it. Now I can eat things that would have made me cry last year.
That's so interesting. It's funny how our tastes change over a year. It's not just about what we do, but who we become. Do you feel like a different person than you were last January?
In some ways, yes. I think I've become more patient. Gardening teaches you patience because you can't make the plants grow faster just by shouting at them. You have to wait. You have to trust the process. That's helped me in other areas of my life too. When things don't happen as fast as I want them to, I remind myself about my tomato plants.
I love that. I think I've become more organized. I started using a digital planner this year, and it has changed my life. I used to forget appointments all the time. I would double book myself or show up on the wrong day, but now I'm always on time and prepared.
That's a great skill to have. It makes life so much less stressful. You know what else I started doing this year? I began learning to play the guitar. I've always wanted to learn an instrument, and I finally just went for it. I bought a cheap guitar online and started watching YouTube tutorials.
Really? That's fantastic. How's it going?
Well, my fingers hurt a lot at first, like really hurt. I didn't realize how much pressure you need to press down on the strings. But after a few weeks, I started getting calluses on my fingertips, and it became easier. Now I can play 3 chords, which means I can play about 100 pop songs. Most pop songs use the same 3 or 4 chords.
3 chords can go a long way. Have you played for anyone yet?
Just my cat, and honestly, I don't think she was very impressed. She just stared at me for a minute and then walked away with her tail in the air. But I don't care. I'm having so much fun with it. It's nice to do something just for the joy of it, not because I have to be good at it or make money from it.
That's such an important point. We often put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect at everything. We think, if I'm going to do something, I have to be the best at it. But sometimes it's okay to be a beginner. It's okay to be bad at something at first. That's how we learn and grow.
Exactly. And that's what I want to tell our language learners too. You don't have to speak perfect English right away. You don't have to sound like a native speaker after 6 months. Making mistakes is part of the process. Every time you try to speak, even if you make mistakes, you are getting better. Your brain is learning.
Yes, I love that. Every mistake is actually a success because it means you tried. Speaking of our listeners, we want to hear from you. We're about halfway through our chat, and we'd love to know, where are you watching or listening from today?
Yes, please tell us your country in the comments. We love reading your comments and seeing how far our Easy English family reaches. It's so cool to see people from Brazil, Japan, Poland, Egypt, Mexico, India, Korea, all over the world.
It really is. We read every single comment, even if we can't reply to all of them. So leave a comment right now and tell us which country you're in. And if you want, tell us one thing you learned or achieved this year. We'd love to celebrate with you. Now, Leo, let's talk about the harder parts of the year. It's not always sunshine and tomatoes, right?
No, definitely not. I had a few weeks in the summer where I felt very overwhelmed with work. I had 3 big projects happening at the same time, and I felt like I had too many things to do and not enough time. I wasn't sleeping well, I was stressed all the time. I even stopped playing my guitar because I said I didn't have time.
I'm sorry to hear that. How did you handle it?
I had to learn to say no. That was a big lesson for me this year. I'm someone who always wants to help everyone. If someone asks me to do something, I automatically say yes. But I realized I can't do everything. I had to prioritize my health and my sleep. Once I started saying no to extra projects, I started feeling much better. I had time to breathe again.
That is such an important lesson. No is a very powerful word, and it's a complete sentence. You don't always have to explain yourself. You can just say, "No, I can't do that right now." I had a similar challenge. My car broke down in the middle of a very busy month, and I had no way to get to work. The repair cost was really expensive, and I was so stressed about money and transportation.
That's the worst. What did you do?
Honestly, it taught me to ask for help. I'm usually someone who wants to do everything alone. I don't like feeling like a burden to other people. But my neighbor, who I barely knew at the time, offered to drive me to work for a whole week. She said she was going in that direction anyway. It reminded me that there are kind people everywhere if we just let them help us. And now we're actually good friends. We have coffee together every weekend.
That's a beautiful perspective. Challenges often teach us the biggest lessons. Like they say, no rain, no flowers. We need the difficult times to appreciate the good times.
Exactly. We need the rainy days to appreciate the sunny ones. You know, I also had a really difficult moment in August. I lost my grandmother. She was 92 years old and had lived a long, beautiful life, but it was still really hard to say goodbye.
Oh, Emma, I'm so sorry for your loss. That must have been incredibly difficult.
Thank you, Leo. It was tough. I flew back home for the funeral and I saw my whole family. We told stories about her, we laughed, we cried. It was sad, but also beautiful in a way. And it reminded me to cherish the time I have with my loved ones. After that, I called my parents more often. Before, I would call them once a month. Now I call them every week, sometimes twice a week. I visited my sister. I made more time for the people who matter most. Sometimes loss teaches us about love.
That's a powerful lesson. I think we all need those reminders sometimes. Life gets so busy that we forget to connect with the people we care about. We think, I'll call them next week, I'll visit them next month, but we don't know how much time we have.
Exactly. So, my advice to everyone listening is call someone you love today. Send a message. Tell them you're thinking about them. It only takes a minute, but it means so much. And I think that's something our listeners can practice too. If you're learning English, try calling a friend and speaking in English for just 5 minutes, or video chat with someone. Real conversation is the best practice.
That's great advice. Real conversations are so different from textbook English. You learn how people actually speak, with all the ums and you knows and pauses. It's much more natural. You learn that native speakers make mistakes too. We say gonna instead of going to. We say wanna instead of want to. That's real English.
Yes, and you learn to think quickly in English. That's a really important skill. In textbooks, you have time to think about your answer, but in real life, people are waiting for you to respond. Now, looking at our English learners, I think many of them have challenges too. Maybe they feel like their English isn't improving fast enough. Maybe they study every day but still struggle to speak.
I want to tell them, don't be discouraged. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. You can't rush it. If you're listening to this podcast right now, you are already doing a great job. You have practiced your listening for almost 15 minutes already. That's amazing.
That's right. Think about where your English was last year. Can you understand more now? Can you say more words? Can you watch movies or TV shows and understand them better? If the answer is yes, then you have succeeded. You are making progress.
Even if you only learned one new word today, that is progress. Actually, let's teach a new word right now. How about nostalgic? That's a good word for today since we are looking back at our memories.
Yes, nostalgic. It means feeling happy but slightly sad, longing for the past. For example, I feel nostalgic when I look at photos from my trip to Italy. The memories are beautiful, but I also feel a little sad because those moments are over. I can't go back to that exact time and place.
I feel nostalgic when I think about my childhood home. I grew up in a small house with a big backyard. I remember playing in the backyard with my brother. We would build forts and pretend we were explorers. Those were simple, happy times. And yes, I also feel nostalgic about my first tomato. It was so small and cute.
You really love that tomato. Okay, let's look forward a little bit. We've talked about the past year. What are you looking forward to in the next year?
I want to continue with my gardening, but I want to grow something bigger. Maybe pumpkins or watermelons. I want to see if I can do it. And I really want to improve my fitness. I want to run a 5K race. I've never been a runner, so this will be a big challenge for me. But I think if I train slowly and consistently, I can do it.
A 5K. That's a great goal, Leo. You'll have to keep us updated on your training. Maybe we can do a podcast episode about it in a few months. As for me, I want to learn a new language, maybe Spanish or Portuguese. Since I loved Italy so much, I want to explore more of Europe and Latin America and be able to speak to the local people. I don't want to just be a tourist who only speaks English.
Spanish is a beautiful language. I'm sure you'll be great at it. You're already good at explaining things clearly, so you'll be a good language learner. And for our listeners, maybe your goal is to speak English more confidently. Maybe you want to have a conversation with a native speaker. Maybe you want to watch a movie without subtitles. We are here to help you with that every week.
That's great advice. Real conversations are so different from textbook English. You learn how people actually speak, with all the ums and you knows and pauses. It's much more natural. You learn that native speakers make mistakes too. We say gonna instead of going to. We say wanna instead of want to. That's real English.
Yes, and you learn to think quickly in English. That's a really important skill. In textbooks, you have time to think about your answer, but in real life, people are waiting for you to respond. Now, looking at our English learners, I think many of them have challenges too. Maybe they feel like their English isn't improving fast enough. Maybe they study every day but still struggle to speak.
I want to tell them, don't be discouraged. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. You can't rush it. If you are listening to this podcast right now, you are already doing a great job. You have practiced your listening for almost 15 minutes already. That's amazing.
That's right. Think about where your English was last year. Can you understand more now? Can you say more words? Can you watch movies or TV shows and understand them better? If the answer is yes, then you have succeeded. You are making progress. Even if you only learned one new word today, that is progress. Actually, let's teach a new word right now. How about nostalgic? That's a good word for today since we are looking back at our memories.
Yes, nostalgic. It means feeling happy but slightly sad, longing for the past. For example, I feel nostalgic when I look at photos from my trip to Italy. The memories are beautiful, but I also feel a little sad because those moments are over. I can't go back to that exact time and place.
I feel nostalgic when I think about my childhood home. I grew up in a small house with a big backyard. I remember playing in the backyard with my brother. We would build forts and pretend we were explorers. Those were simple, happy times. And yes, I also feel nostalgic about my first tomato. It was so small and cute.
You really love that tomato. Okay, let's look forward a little bit. We've talked about the past year. What are you looking forward to in the next year?
I want to continue with my gardening, but I want to grow something bigger. Maybe pumpkins or watermelons. I want to see if I can do it. And I really want to improve my fitness. I want to run a 5K race. I've never been a runner, so this will be a big challenge for me. But I think if I train slowly and consistently, I can do it.
A 5K. That's a great goal, Leo. You'll have to keep us updated on your training. Maybe we can do a podcast episode about it in a few months. As for me, I want to learn a new language, maybe Spanish or Portuguese. Since I loved Italy so much, I want to explore more of Europe and Latin America and be able to speak to the local people. I don't want to just be a tourist who only speaks English.
Spanish is a beautiful language. I'm sure you'll be great at it. You're already good at explaining things clearly, so you'll be a good language learner. And for our listeners, maybe your goal is to speak English more confidently. Maybe you want to have a conversation with a native speaker. Maybe you want to watch a movie without subtitles. We're here to help you with that every week.
Yes, we are. We have so many exciting episodes planned for next year. We're going to talk about work English, travel English, and even how to order food like a pro. We're going to do episodes about idioms and phrasal verbs. We know those are really tricky for learners.
I can't wait. We're also planning some episodes about pronunciation. That's something a lot of learners struggle with, so we want to make it easier and more fun. We'll practice difficult sounds like TH and R and L. We'll talk about word stress and sentence rhythm.
And we might even do some guest interviews. We want to talk to people from different countries about their English learning journeys. We'll ask them about their challenges, their successes, their tips and tricks. It will be so inspiring to hear their stories.
That sounds amazing. I think hearing other people's stories really helps. You realize you're not alone in your struggles. You realize that everyone finds English difficult at first. Even people who speak English fluently now struggled in the beginning.
Exactly. Learning English can feel lonely sometimes, especially if you're studying by yourself at home. But it doesn't have to be. That's why we created this podcast, to build a community of learners who support each other. When you leave a comment, you're not just talking to us, you're talking to other learners from around the world.
And we see that community growing every day. The comments you leave, the messages you send, the stories you share, they inspire us to keep making more content for you. Sometimes we have a hard day and we think, should we make another episode? And then we read your comments and we think, yes, we have to keep going.
You motivate us just as much as we hopefully motivate you. So thank you for being part of this journey with us. It's going to be a great year for the Easy English community. I can feel it.
Before we finish up, let's do a quick recap of what we talked about today. We discussed the importance of reflecting on your year. We talked about taking time to look back and see how much you've accomplished, even if it feels like you didn't do much.
We used the past simple to talk about specific events, like my trip to Italy and Leo's gardening adventure and his guitar learning. Remember, the past simple is used for completed actions in the past. We say, I went, I tried, I learned.
We also talked about lessons learned this year, like the importance of saying no when you're overwhelmed, and the value of asking for help when things get tough. We shared our challenges, like Emma's car breaking down, and my stressful summer at work, and how we grew from them.
And we reminded you that progress is progress, no matter how small. Learning a language takes time, so be kind to yourself. Celebrate every little victory. If you understood one more sentence today than you did yesterday, that's progress. If you learned one new word, that's progress.
We also learned the word nostalgic. Remember, it means feeling happy but a little sad when you think about the past. You can use it in a sentence like, I feel nostalgic when I look at old photos, or this song makes me feel nostalgic.
That's a great summary. I feel very inspired now. This conversation reminded me how much can happen in just 1 year. If you told me last January that I would go to Italy and start running and lose my grandmother and make a new friend, I wouldn't have believed you. But that's life. It's full of surprises.
It really is, and that's what makes it exciting. We can make plans, but we never know exactly what's going to happen. We just have to be open to new experiences and new challenges.
Me too, Leo. Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your stories. It's always such a pleasure to chat with you. You make these episodes so much fun.
Thank you for having me, Emma. It was a lot of fun. I always enjoy our conversations. And thank you to everyone for listening to us talk for 20 minutes.
And thank you to everyone listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Easy English Podcast. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. It really helps us reach more English learners around the world. YouTube's algorithm loves likes and subscriptions.
Don't forget to comment with your country and your biggest lesson from this year. We really want to hear from you. Tell us about your challenges, your successes, and your goals for next year. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to learn? We're here to support you.
Also, share this episode with a friend who is learning English. Sharing is caring. If you know someone who would benefit from this podcast, send them the link. Learning English is more fun with friends. Check out the description for our social media links: TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We have lots of fun shorts and reels waiting for you there. They're perfect for quick English practice during your lunch break or while you're waiting for the bus.
And remember, if you want more content like this, we have many other episodes on the channel. You can find episodes about daily routines, shopping, making friends, job interviews, and so much more. There's something for everyone. We have episodes for absolute beginners and episodes for advanced learners.
Keep practicing, keep growing, and keep speaking. English is a journey, not a destination. Every day you listen, every day you try, you are getting better. You might not notice it today or tomorrow, but if you compare yourself to 6 months ago or a year ago, you'll see the difference. We believe in you.
We really do. You've got this. Don't give up. Even when it's hard, even when you feel frustrated, keep going. Every expert was once a beginner. See you in the next episode.
Happy New Year, everyone! We wish you health, happiness, and lots of English progress in the coming year. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye!
Bye, everyone. Thank you for spending 20 minutes with us today. Keep shining.